And do you think that with the way that organizations approach this, is there from your perspective, is there a particular order that they should be done in? Would you prioritize one over the other? So, for example, we start with vulnerability or risk assessment first, then penetration testing, and then finally, adding that layer of red teaming to it? Or, would you kind of approach it in a different order, or would you do it all at the same time? Is that even possible?
That's a very interesting question, and there is no straightforward answer to it. So on a high level, I would say it depends. So let me come up with a few scenarios to explain it better. So let's say there is an organization which are having a complete blank slate. They don't know what they are planning to do, and their level of security maturity is relatively low. So they can start with vulnerability management program, because there is going to be a lot of noise. They will have a lot of things on their plate which they have to work upon. Now, let's say there is a scenario where organization recently got breached, and it was an eye opener. They are completely crippled. Now they cannot rely on a vulnerability management program. They want to understand every aspect of their cybersecurity, and that's where red teaming is of great importance. They should highly go for it. And as you mentioned, what if there could be a combinations of it? Yes, in mature and large organizations, there are always a combination of all three, what I've seen. So you have a vulnerability management program, which runs on a day-to-day basis. You have a penetration testing happening for applications. Whenever you introduce new applications, you upgrade applications, you do pen tests, and you have a annual or at some regular interval, you will be performing a red teaming activity. So it all depends on situations and scenarios. There are also scenarios where you may do it because of a regulatory requirement. Some standards demand for it, that you do it every year. For instance, like UK government says, if you have to do a vulnerability management, demonstrate in every 30 days, you patch all the critical and high vulnerabilities. PCI DSS may say, do a pen test, period. So I think it depends, where are you in your journey of cybersecurity.
Yeah, cool. And that's really interesting, especially the way you talk about layering these kind of approaches up. And you're obviously a huge advocate of red teaming as well, which is interesting. I mean, would you actually say that this is, or would you go as far as to say that this is a kind of a silver bullet, a kind of, the most effective way to help with cybersecurity related issues and challenges?
So in my opinion, the way, because in so many forums, I talk to a lot of cybersecurity professionals, even the IT leaders, is there a silver bullet? And our response to them generally is, cyber is something, an attack coming from the internet. Yeah. At this point of time, there will be roughly around 3 billion people on this planet who are accessing internet on a day-to-day basis. Mm-hmm. There is hardly any business you may be aware of who are not on internet. So as long as you are accessing internet, having cybersecurity is indispensable, and cyber attacks are inevitable. This is something you cannot get rid of. So there is no silver bullet. There never was. There never will be. The situation is quite dire when it comes to cybersecurity. If you remember Barack Obama, he used to be the president of US. He once said, if in future there is going to be a war, it's going to be a cyber war.
Absolutely.
And there was an FBI director and a very popular iconic status guy, John Chambers, who was a CEO of Cisco. These guys said there are only two type of companies on this planet: those who have been hacked and those who don't know they have been hacked. So cybersecurity is something which you just cannot run away with. There was another famous quote from one of the FBI director who was retired, and he says, cyber attacks, they're like a human body. So we know that our body is vulnerable to infections. We know it will get sick, but are we resilient enough to recover from it? And that's the most essential thing when it comes to cybersecurity. Do we have the capabilities to recover from the cybersecurity incident? And that's is going to make a world of difference.